My dear friends, have you ever met a woman who, no matter how old she is, somehow glows? She walks into a room and people turn their heads, not because of her clothes or makeup, but because she carries a light within her. Her laughter has peace in it. Her eyes have kindness in them. Her presence feels like springtime in winter, and people wonder, what's her secret? Is it her diet, her skincare, her yoga routine? But my friends, what if I tell you that the women who look younger than their age often possess something far deeper, a spiritual quality that reflects not just on their face, but from their soul? Gratitude is not just a polite thank you we say to people. It is a way of seeing life. It is a gentle reminder that even though everything might not be perfect, there is still something beautiful in every day. A woman who practices gratitude glows not because her life is easy, but because she chooses to see the blessings hidden in every challenge. She carries gratitude like a fragrance that fills every space she walks into. Wherever she goes, she brings calmness, humility, and warmth. Her presence feels light like sunshine after rain. In daily life, gratitude is what transforms the ordinary into something extraordinary. Think about a woman waking up early to prepare breakfast for her family. The routine is the same every morning. The alarm rings, the coffee brews, the children rush. But the difference is how she sees it. A grateful woman doesn't complain about the noise or the rush. She smiles because she has a family to care for, food to cook, and a home to return to. Her gratitude turns responsibility into love, and that love shows on her face. It softens her expression, brightens her eyes, and makes her aura peaceful. We often meet people who complain about small inconveniences, the traffic, the weather, the workload. And then we meet someone who, despite facing bigger problems, chooses to remain kind and cheerful. That's the beauty of gratitude. It doesn't change your situation instantly, but it changes the way you carry it. A woman with a thankful heart walks lighter. She focuses more on what she has rather than what she lacks. Instead of counting her wrinkles, she counts her blessings. Instead of comparing her life to others, she cherishes her own. Gratitude has a powerful spiritual quality. It keeps the heart young. When you are thankful, your energy remains positive and your mind stays peaceful. You begin to see miracles in moments that others overlook. You see the smile of a child as a gift, a meal as a blessing, a sunset as a masterpiece painted just for you. Gratitude slows you down, not because you have nothing to do, but because you start to notice everything that's already enough. I remember once meeting a woman who had gone through a very difficult time. She had lost her job and faced health problems at the same time. But when I spoke to her, she wasn't bitter. She said, "I thank God every day that I can still walk, breathe, and smile. I lost my job, but maybe I gained time to rest and rediscover myself." That's gratitude, finding light in the dark corners of life. That light shines on her face. People look at her and say, she looks younger. But what they really mean is, she looks peaceful. When you live with gratitude, even your body responds. Science says that gratitude reduces stress and improves sleep. But beyond science, there's something deeper. When your heart feels full, your spirit feels alive. You stop rushing through life, trying to prove yourself. You start appreciating the small gifts that already make you complete. That's what keeps you radiant. Gratitude also builds humility. A woman who is thankful doesn't think the world owes her anything. She knows that every blessing, big or small, is grace. She respects what she has and honors what she receives. When someone helps her, she says, "Thank you," not just with words but with sincerity. And that sincerity is what makes people trust her, love her, and feel comforted by her presence. Gratitude turns her relationships into safe spaces. It makes her more understanding, patient, and compassionate. Even on the hardest days, gratitude whispers, "There's still something good here." Maybe the good thing is a lesson, maybe it's strength, maybe it's hope, but there's always something. A woman who practices gratitude knows this truth. She doesn't run away from pain, she learns from it. She knows that behind every storm, there's a clear sky waiting. That calm acceptance gives her an inner glow that no beauty product can imitate. You can see it in her gestures, the way she greets the day with a smile, the way she thanks the shopkeeper, the way she appreciates even the smallest kindness. Her gratitude isn't loud, but it's consistent. It becomes her rhythm, her way of moving through the world. People around her feel lighter because she doesn't complain or drain others with negativity. Instead, she uplifts. She reminds them that life is still beautiful, no matter how imperfect it may be. Imagine walking through a garden. Some people notice the thorns, others notice the roses. Gratitude teaches you to enjoy the scent of the rose, even if the thorns exist. That's the secret of women who carry eternal youth. They don't deny life's difficulties, they simply choose not to let those difficulties define their spirit. They focus on beauty, on lessons, on love, and that choice makes them glow. Gratitude also deepens faith. When you are thankful for what you have, you naturally trust that life will give you what you need next. A grateful woman doesn't panic easily. She believes that everything happens for her growth. That quiet trust gives her a serenity that is visible even in silence. People look at her and feel peace because she radiates it from within. So if you ever wonder how to stay young, start by being thankful. Thankful for the people who love you, for the challenges that teach you, for the mornings that begin again. Thankful even for the moments that didn't go as planned, because they made you stronger. Gratitude is not a small act, it's a sacred practice. It transforms your perception, your attitude, and even your appearance. When your heart smiles, your face reflects it. When your soul is content, your body glows. That's the miracle of gratitude. It beautifies you from the inside out. The next time you look in the mirror, don't just search for signs of aging. Look for signs of appreciation. Because every time you say, "Thank you," sincerely, you add a little more life to your spirit. And a living, grateful spirit is always young, forever radiant, forever peaceful, forever beautiful. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful and freeing qualities a person can possess, yet it is also one of the hardest to practice. It is easy to smile in front of people and say, "I've moved on," but deep inside, many hearts still carry the weight of pain, betrayal, and disappointment. The truth is, holding on to grudges doesn't protect us. It poisons us slowly. It doesn't age our skin instantly, but it does age our spirit. A woman who forgives, truly forgives, carries a lightness in her soul that reflects in her eyes, her voice, her presence. She looks younger, not because she has erased the years, but because she has released the heaviness that years of bitterness can bring. Forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chain that keeps you connected to the hurt. When someone wrongs you, you have two choices. Either hold on to the wound and let it shape you with resentment, or let it go and allow yourself to heal. The one who forgives doesn't say, "It didn't matter," but she says, "I matter more than this pain." She chooses peace over revenge, calmness over chaos, and freedom over suffering. In daily life, forgiveness shows up in the smallest of moments. Think about the woman who forgives her friend for forgetting her birthday, or her husband for not understanding her feelings. Think about the mother who forgives her child's mistakes again and again. These acts may seem small, but they are the seeds of inner beauty. Each time she forgives, her soul becomes lighter, her mind calmer, and her face softer. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the highest strength. It takes far more courage to let go than to hold on. There's a famous saying, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When we refuse to forgive, we trap ourselves in the very pain we want to escape from. We replay the moment in our head again and again until it becomes a wound that never heals. But when we choose to forgive, we stop bleeding internally. The hurt may remain as a memory, but it no longer controls us. That emotional freedom is what makes a person glow differently. I once met an elderly woman who radiated such peace that I couldn't help but ask, "What's your secret to staying so joyful?" She smiled and said, "I stopped keeping a record of who hurt me. I realized that forgiveness doesn't make them right, it makes me free." That sentence struck me deeply. Forgiveness doesn't mean you allow people to hurt you again. It means you refuse to let their behavior decide your happiness. When you forgive, you take back control of your peace. Think about how much energy people waste on anger, replaying arguments, holding silent grudges, avoiding people, and feeding thoughts of revenge. All that energy could have been used to create joy, to grow, to love, to live. But the woman who forgives uses her energy differently. She invests it in building a happier life. Her focus shifts from the problem to the lesson. She says, "I can't change what happened, but I can choose how it shapes me." That mindset not only makes her stronger, but also keeps her heart young. Forgiveness also changes relationships. It heals what pride tries to destroy. Many families are broken, not because of major issues, but because of egos that refuse to say, "I'm sorry," or hearts that refuse to say, "I forgive you." A woman with a forgiving heart brings healing wherever she goes. She teaches her children by example that love matters more than being right. She teaches her friends that peace matters more than winning an argument. Her presence restores harmony. On a deeper level, forgiveness also connects us to spirituality. When we forgive, we align ourselves with divine grace. Every faith, every spiritual path teaches forgiveness, not as a moral rule, but as a necessity for the soul's peace. When you forgive, you mirror the compassion of the divine, because the truth is, we all have needed forgiveness at some point. No one is perfect. Just as we hope to be forgiven for our flaws, we are called to extend that same mercy to others. Letting go doesn't mean the hurt disappears overnight. It is a process, sometimes slow, sometimes painful, but always worth it. You may have days when the wound still feels fresh, but each time you choose to forgive again, you heal a little deeper. The woman who forgives understands that life is too short to waste on bitterness. She has learned that holding grudges keeps her tied to the past, while forgiveness opens the door to a peaceful future. Imagine her walking through life, calm, grounded, smiling. She's not smiling because everything is perfect, but because she has released what could have destroyed her peace. She chooses peace over pride, understanding over anger, and compassion over revenge. That choice gives her a serenity that shows in her posture, her tone, and even her skin. There's something deeply magnetic about a person who has no resentment. You can feel their purity, a kind of stillness that touches everyone around them. Forgiveness also brings emotional clarity. When you stop resenting others, you make space for better things, for love, creativity, joy, and wisdom. Anger clutters the mind, forgiveness clears it. That clarity helps you see life differently. You stop seeing people as enemies and start seeing them as teachers. Every hurt becomes a lesson in strength, patience, and understanding. That shift is what makes a person spiritually mature and emotionally radiant. So, the next time someone hurts you, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, it isn't. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve peace. A forgiving heart stays beautiful because it doesn't carry baggage. It walks lightly through life, smiling, learning, and growing. And that is why women who forgive quickly and let go easily seem to age slower. Their spirit stays young because it's not burdened by resentment. Their mind stays calm because it's not stuck in old arguments. Their heart stays open because it's not guarded by bitterness. Forgiveness is not a one-time act. It's a daily choice to stay free. And every time you choose forgiveness, you choose youth, peace, and grace all over again. Laughter is the sound of the soul dancing. It is one of the purest expressions of joy, and it has the power to make the heaviest heart feel light again. A woman who laughs often, not because life is easy, but because she has learned to find humor even in hardship, carries a special glow that no makeup can create. Her laughter is not loud or forced. It is natural, warm, and healing. It comes from a heart that has made peace with life's imperfections. When she laughs, she reminds everyone around her that life, no matter how complicated, is still beautiful. We often meet people who take life too seriously. Every small mistake becomes a mountain. Every delay feels like a disaster. Their brows are furrowed, their hearts are restless, and their energy feels heavy. Then you meet someone who, despite facing bigger struggles, still smiles, still jokes, still laughs. That woman teaches us that joy is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to stay light while walking through them. Her laughter says, yes, I've been through pain, but pain doesn't own me. And that's what makes her shine from within. In daily life, laughter works like sunlight for the soul. Imagine a woman stuck in traffic, the rain pouring, her plans delayed. Most people would sigh in frustration, but she smiles, turns on her favorite song, and sings along while waiting. That's not carelessness, that's wisdom. She knows that being upset won't change the situation, but keeping her spirit cheerful will change her. Laughter, in such moments, becomes an act of resilience. It is her quiet rebellion against negativity. Laughter has a magic that brings people closer. It softens anger, melts distance, and heals misunderstandings. A mother laughing with her children, a wife teasing her husband after a long day, a group of friends sharing a silly memory. These small moments create bonds that last longer than words. A woman who laughs with others doesn't just spread happiness, she builds connection. Her laughter tells people, it's safe to be yourself here. That kind of energy makes her unforgettable. There's something deeply spiritual about laughter too. It's not just about humor, it's about faith. A woman who can laugh, even in difficult times, trusts that life will work out. She has seen enough to know that every dark night is followed by a sunrise. Her laughter is her declaration of hope. It says, this storm won't last forever. It's the sound of surrender, not to defeat, but to divine timing. I remember once meeting a woman in her 70s who had lost many things in life: her husband, her health, her wealth. Yet, when she spoke, she laughed often. She laughed at her own stories, her own mistakes, her own past fears. I asked her how she managed to stay so joyful. She said, I realize that life laughs at us when we take it too seriously. So now I laugh with life. That simple wisdom carries so much truth. When we stop resisting every little inconvenience and learn to smile through it, life feels lighter, more forgiving, and more kind. Laughter is also medicine. It reduces stress, boosts energy, and releases tension. But beyond science, it heals the unseen parts of the soul. When a woman laughs, her heart relaxes. When her heart relaxes, her energy becomes softer, her face brighter, her presence more magnetic. People often mistake this glow for youth, but it's actually peace. Peace that comes from taking life one moment at a time with a smile. Even the smallest laughs can change the mood of an entire day. Think about mornings when everything goes wrong. You spill your coffee, you forget your keys, you get late for work. You can either let that ruin your mood or laugh and say, well, at least it can't get worse. That small laugh changes everything. Suddenly the day feels manageable again. Laughter has that power. It shifts perspective from frustration to acceptance, from worry to flow. A woman who laughs easily also inspires others to do the same. Her laughter gives permission to others to drop their guard, to breathe, to enjoy. She becomes the light in heavy conversations, the calm during conflict, and the warmth in cold moments. She teaches without preaching, simply by living with joy. Her laughter reminds people that even when life doesn't make sense, there's always a reason to smile. Laughter is also humility in disguise. It says, I don't take myself too seriously. It helps her accept her flaws with grace. When she forgets something, instead of scolding herself, she laughs. When she fails, she smiles and says, I'll try again. That attitude protects her from bitterness. It keeps her spirit flexible and her heart open. And that openness is what makes her look and feel timeless. Sometimes laughter comes after tears. When a woman has cried enough, when she has felt pain deeply, her laughter later carries wisdom. It's not shallow anymore. It's real. It's earned. When she laughs now, it has depth. It says, I've been through darkness, but I found my light again. That laughter has the power to comfort others because it comes from understanding. Laughter also helps her forgive herself. It reminds her that mistakes are part of being human, that even in failure, there's humor if we look close enough. It's not about mocking the situation, but about freeing the heart from unnecessary seriousness. She realizes that laughter doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means not letting pain steal every moment of joy. When you see such a woman, you instantly feel drawn to her. She might have wrinkles, but they look beautiful because they're carved by smiles, not frowns. Her energy feels youthful because it's not burdened by overthinking. Her laughter, honest and contagious, becomes her signature. It's her spiritual armor, her invisible strength, her quiet wisdom. So, if you want to keep your heart young, laugh more. Laugh at your clumsiness, at your past, at life's irony. Laugh with others, laugh alone, laugh freely. Because every time you laugh, you heal a part of yourself. Every time you laugh, you choose joy over pain, light over darkness. Laughter doesn't erase problems, but it makes them smaller. It doesn't stop aging, but it slows the heaviness that comes with it. In the end, laughter is not just an emotion, it is an attitude, a declaration that no matter how tough life gets, you will not let it steal your joy. A woman who lives like that doesn't just look younger, she feels younger. And that feeling shines brighter than any jewel, lasts longer than beauty, and touches more hearts than words ever could. There is something truly powerful about a woman who stays connected to something higher than herself. In a world full of noise, distractions, and endless expectations, she finds her peace in silence, in prayer, in meditation, or simply in a few quiet moments of gratitude. While everyone else is chasing validation from the world, she turns inward and upward. She draws her strength not from people's approval, but from a divine connection that fills her from within. That connection gives her an inner glow, the kind of calm confidence that cannot be faked or bought. It's not about religion or rituals, it's about relationship, a personal, sacred bond with the divine that keeps her soul nourished, even when life feels dry. A woman who stays connected to a higher power doesn't crumble easily under pressure. When storms come, she bends but doesn't break. Her heart may tremble, but it doesn't lose faith. She knows there's a bigger plan unfolding, even if she can't see it yet. It's this deep trust that keeps her radiant. She doesn't fight against everything. She flows, believing that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is meant to shape her into something stronger, kinder, and wiser. In daily life, you can recognize such a woman easily. She's the one who, even in chaos, stays calm. When others panic, she breathes. When others complain, she prays. She doesn't allow negativity to rule her emotions because her spirit is anchored in something stable, something eternal. Maybe it's her morning prayer before the day begins, or her habit of closing her eyes in gratitude before sleeping. Maybe it's her way of looking at the sky and whispering, "I trust you." Whatever it is, that spiritual rhythm keeps her balanced when life tilts. I once met a young woman who was going through many struggles. Her career wasn't stable, her relationships were uncertain, and her confidence was fading. Yet she carried herself with such serenity that it felt almost divine. When I asked her how she managed to stay so composed, she smiled and said, I have a morning conversation with God before I speak to anyone else. That touched me deeply. Her strength didn't come from control, it came from connection. She didn't fight every battle alone. She allowed divine guidance to lead her through. That's the power of staying connected to something higher. It reminds you that you're never alone, no matter how difficult life gets. When a woman nurtures that spiritual connection, her energy changes. Her words become softer, her reactions slower, and her eyes gentler. She carries a quiet confidence, not arrogance. People feel safe around her because her peace is contagious. She doesn't get easily provoked because her soul is rooted in stillness. And even when things fall apart, she doesn't lose herself because she knows that divine love never abandons her. Every morning, she recharges not with coffee, but with calmness. She sits in silence, breathes deeply, and allows gratitude to flow through her heart. This small daily ritual becomes her armor against the chaos of the world. When she steps out into her day, she carries that peace with her like an invisible shield. People often mistake her serenity for simplicity, but it's actually her strength. She has learned the art of staying still in a world that never stops moving. We often underestimate how powerful inner connection can be. Many women feel drained because they give so much of themselves to others, their time, energy, emotions, without refilling their own spiritual cup. But the woman who stays connected knows that before she pours love into others, she must refill from the source of love itself. She draws from that higher energy through faith, prayer, nature, or stillness. And that's why she never truly runs empty. Her light never dims, even when life tests her again and again. There's a kind of beauty that comes from this connection, a natural radiance. It's not about how she looks, but about how she feels from within. You can see it when she listens patiently, when she speaks kindly, when she forgives easily. She knows that every soul is on its journey, and she doesn't take things personally. That perspective comes from her bond with something greater than herself. She's guided not by ego, but by grace. Think of a tree. Its branches may sway, but its roots hold it firm. That's how she is. Her roots are spiritual. Her branches are her daily actions. Even when strong winds blow, she doesn't lose balance. Her connection with the divine keeps her grounded and protected. It's not that she doesn't feel pain, she does, but she takes her pain to prayer, not to gossip. She cries, but she cries before the one who understands her completely. And after every tear, she rises a little stronger, a little lighter, a little more radiant. Sometimes, she doesn't even speak of her faith, she simply lives it. Her calmness during conflict, her patience with people, her courage in uncertainty, all silently reflect her inner faith. She doesn't preach spirituality, she embodies it. And that's why people around her often feel peace in her company, even if they can't explain why. There's a moment that comes in everyone's life when you realize that material things can't comfort your soul. You can buy clothes, travel, succeed, but the inner emptiness remains unless you are spiritually connected. The woman who has discovered this truth lives differently. She enjoys worldly things, but is not attached to them. She loves deeply, but doesn't lose herself in relationships. She works hard, but doesn't forget to pause and breathe. Her balance is her beauty. And when challenges come, she doesn't collapse, she bows. She bows her head, not in defeat, but in surrender, trusting that the same higher force that brought her this far will carry her through. That quiet surrender gives her peace that no achievement can offer. So, a woman who stays connected to something higher doesn't just live, she flows. Her heart beats in rhythm with the universe. Her steps are guided, her actions intentional, and her presence serene. She doesn't seek to control life, she allows life to unfold through her. That's what makes her timeless, not her age, but her awareness. She shines from the inside out because she lives from the inside out. And that connection, that divine intimacy, is what keeps her spirit forever young, calm, and beautiful beyond measure. There is an indescribable beauty in a woman who serves others with love. She doesn't serve because she wants recognition or applause. She serves because kindness is her nature. Helping others isn't a task for her, it's a way of life. She finds joy in lifting others, peace in making someone smile, and fulfillment in easing someone's pain. Her love doesn't come from duty, it comes from the purity of her heart. When you meet such a woman, you can feel it immediately. Her energy is warm, her eyes are kind, and her presence feels like home. She doesn't need to speak much because her actions speak louder than words. There's a silent grace in her service, and that grace makes her truly timeless. In a world that often says, "Me first," she chooses you first. And yet, she never loses herself. Instead, her heart grows richer. You see, when she gives, she doesn't become smaller, she expands. Her capacity for love, understanding, and patience grows with every act of service. People may forget what she said or did, but they never forget how she made them feel. She becomes that rare person who can make others feel seen, valued, and loved simply by being there. That is the spiritual quality that shines through her. In daily life, this woman might be your neighbor who checks on an elderly person next door, your friend who listens without judgment, or the mother who sacrifices her comfort so her children can have better lives. She could be a teacher who stays late to help a struggling student, or a colleague who encourages others when things go wrong. Her life is filled with small, quiet acts of love that often go unnoticed, but they matter deeply. Each act of service leaves a ripple of goodness that travels farther than she will ever know. What makes her so beautiful is that she doesn't help others for validation. She doesn't post her good deeds online or expect thank yous in return. Her reward is the peace she feels when she knows she's made a difference, no matter how small. When she sees someone smile again, when she hears a soft thank you, when she senses hope where there was despair, that's enough for her. Her satisfaction lies in knowing she was an instrument of light in someone's dark day. Serving others with love also means she sees everyone with compassion. She doesn't judge people by their mistakes or status. She understands that everyone is fighting battles unseen. So instead of criticizing, she comforts. Instead of ignoring, she listens. She knows that sometimes just being there for someone is enough to heal a heart. Her empathy becomes her strength. And because she gives love so freely, life somehow keeps giving it back to her. This kind of service doesn't tire her, it energizes her. When she helps others, she taps into the most divine part of herself. There is a spiritual truth that when we give, we receive far more in return. The love we share multiplies. The joy we spread returns as peace in our own hearts. And that's why she never runs out of warmth or compassion, because her service is not a performance, it's a connection. Through helping others, she connects to life itself. I remember once meeting a woman who volunteered every weekend at a shelter. She wasn't rich, nor did she have much free time. Yet, she said that those few hours of serving food to the needy made her feel more alive than anything else in her week. When I see their eyes light up, she said, it feels like I've touched something sacred. That is the secret of service. It's not about what you give, but the love you put into giving. Even in her own family, her love expresses itself through service. She cooks with care, listens with patience, and comforts with words that feel like medicine. Her home radiates warmth because her energy fills it with love. When people visit her, they leave lighter, calmer, happier. She has a way of turning simple moments into acts of love, serving tea, offering advice, or just sitting silently with someone who's hurting. And yet, she doesn't see herself as extraordinary. In her humility, she believes she's only doing what anyone would do. But that's exactly what makes her extraordinary. In a time when many people think only about what they can get, she focuses on what she can give. Her love is not transactional. She doesn't serve for reward. She serves because love, for her, is a way of breathing. This deep spirit of service keeps her young in ways the world can't understand. Her heart stays soft, her mind stays kind, and her spirit stays alive. She doesn't carry bitterness because love keeps her light. She doesn't envy others because her joy comes from giving, not comparing. That purity of heart reflects on her face. The way her eyes sparkle when she helps someone, the peaceful smile that never seems to fade. People look at her and wonder what her secret is. But the secret is simple. She lives for love. Even when she faces hardship, she doesn't stop giving. She might be tired, but she still encourages others. She might be hurting, but she still comforts someone else's pain. And in doing so, she finds healing herself. Serving others with love is not about perfection. It's about intention. She understands that one kind word, one gentle act, one caring gesture can change someone's entire day, and that belief gives her purpose. Over time, she becomes a source of light for others. People come to her not just for help, but for peace. Her very presence feels soothing because she radiates kindness. She doesn't have to try to impress anyone. Her energy does it for her. Wherever she goes, she leaves behind warmth and wisdom. She doesn't just live, she blesses. That is why a woman who serves others with love never truly ages. Her beauty doesn't come from her reflection in the mirror. It comes from the reflection of her heart in her actions. The love she gives becomes her glow. The gratitude she receives becomes her grace. And the peace she spreads becomes her timeless charm. She may grow older in years, but her spirit stays forever young, forever gentle, and forever beautiful. Because when you live a life of love and service, you don't just exist, you shine.